Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's great to have you here again. I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day, no matter where you are in this incredible world of ours. Today, we're diving deep into XRP. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around for this one because some fascinating things are happening. So, in my last video, I talked about XRP literally disappearing from the open market. And here's what's happening. Cobb recently made a statement about open market purchases, and Wrath of Common asked a crucial question. Will Evernorth buy XRP from the open market? The answer? Absolutely yes. Their PR team was crystal clear about this. We're not talking about escrow here. We're talking about actual purchases. Here's where it gets interesting. Evernorth isn't just buying XRP to hold it. They're planning to grow their XRP share by jumping into institutional lending, providing liquidity, and exploring DEFI yield opportunities. What does this mean for us? Simple. More XRP is leaving the open market, which means we're going to see real scarcity. The crypto philosopher made an excellent point about this. While many people think Ripple has been dumping on retail, and let me tell you, they couldn't be more wronged about this, the XRP team has actually been incredibly strategic. People keep asking, why is everyone so bullish on Ripple? Well, let's talk about Chris Larson's investment into Evernorth. Here's the thing. Chris Larson was completely transparent about where this XRP was going. These critics are about to get the shock of their lives because XRP is going to be the biggest surprise in this entire space, and it's going to happen sooner than most people think. And when it does happen, you're going to hear complete silence from all the FUD spreaders. All those negative voices about this cryptocurrency will suddenly go quiet. Now, let's shift gears and talk about what's happening in Washington, because this is huge. Eleanor Tourette reported that crypto and AI czar Dtcc'S is meeting tomorrow morning with Republican members of the Senate Banking Committee. Why does this matter? They're focusing on advancing market structure legislation out of committee this year and addressing concerns from members like Senator John Kennedy, who've publicly expressed some reservations about the process. But here's the exciting part. There's a flurry of crypto activity happening on the Hill. We've got two industry roundtables scheduled, one hosted by Senator Gillibrand and another by Senator Tim Scott. Both Republican and Democrat sources are seeing these gatherings as positive momentum toward restarting bipartisan negotiations that had stalled recently. Any clarity that comes out of Washington regarding market structure is going to benefit utility-driven cryptocurrencies. And you know where I'm going with this. Now, here's something interesting. Traders on Kaoshi are saying the odds of XRP hitting $4 or above this year have fallen to 20%. But here's how I look at it. You can either see where XRP is heading, or you can bet against it. Me? I never bet against XRP. In fact, I think we're looking at double digits by the end of 2025. That's not just optimism talking. That's based on what I'm seeing unfold. Listen up, because this next part is absolutely crucial. We're currently working on tokenizing all $100 trillion in custody. Let me repeat that. $100 trillion.
So what are DTCC's latest initiatives then in the digital asset space?
Oh, we're busy doing a lot of cool stuff. First thing is our aspiration right now to tokenize all $100 trillion in custody that we have. That requires a fair level of cooperation and collaboration with our regulators, with our market participants, and really trying again to export some of these standards that have served the U.S. markets so well for decades to ensure that they're infused into the digital infrastructure. But then when we tokenize all that, you've got to create value for your participants. Having a token itself is great, but one would ask, so what? So we're leveraging a couple of things. One is working with the fintech community to be able to leverage a network of different blockchains so we can provide our clients with interconnectivity and interoperability so they can move these assets anywhere they want in a safe, controlled manner.
Did you catch what she said? Move those assets. Here's the key point. You're going to need something to move those tokenized assets, and XRP can move anything of value. I think this is going to be absolutely massive. As the DTCC continues to tokenize all $100 trillion in custody, we're going to watch this play out in real time, and it's going to be incredible. I recently came across an article about one of my posts, and it was brilliantly written. Honestly, they explained my view better than I did. They're discussing XRP being the endgame and comparing XRP versus Bitcoin. Here's the crucial difference. Unlike Bitcoin, XRP doesn't depend on its low supply for its use case. Instead, it acts as a neutral bridge. Think of it as a digital connector with the capacity to become an infinite liquidity engine. Here's the mind-blowing part. If the world were to agree that each XRP was worth $10,000, that agreement alone would make it possible. It's all about global consensus and utility. Now, here's where things get really fascinating. Remember, XRP is going to have a set price. All it takes is for the right people to agree on what that price needs to be. Lakshuan Capitalist has talked about this multiple times in the past, and here's what he said. The IMF and central banks are going to agree that XRP's price needs to be at a specific level to move all of this massive value we're talking about. So the big question is, will that happen? And when? I think there's a fantastic possibility of this happening. In fact, I believe XRP could become an ESDR, electronic special drawing right. And here's something that really gets me excited. The fact that Chris Larsen is a high-ranking board member at the IMF puts us directly on the path for this to happen. When would this all play out? Most likely closer to 2028. But here's my bold prediction. I think everything that was meant to happen in 2030 is going to happen by 2028. Why? Because everything they've talked about is being fast-tracked in real time, and it seems to be accelerating.
Maybe it even happens before 2028. Imagine this. One day, we wake up and the flip of the switch has already happened. Here's what's really happening behind the scenes. The big boys are coming for your XRP, but they prefer you to wave the white flag first and give up now. Get this, retail won't even be able to buy XRP sometime in 2026. Then they'll run a buyback program and offer you what seems like an insane amount of money. But here's where I disagree with some analysts. I don't believe there will ever be a buyback on XRP. Why? Because there's going to be way too many sellers on the way up. Everybody always thinks it takes a crash to shake out the weak hands. Actually, when you see the price rising, that will create an even bigger shakeout. You're going to see people selling at different price points all the way up, expecting a major crash to happen after the run ends, because we've seen that in previous cycles. But this cycle is so much different. We're on the verge of institutional adoption, and that's the game changer. I always said you were very lucky because you beat all the institutions to XRP, but that advantage is about to end. The institutions are on the verge of entering this space, and that's exactly why you don't want to sell too soon. I think the prediction might be right about retail not even being able to buy XRP sometime next year. If we have the biggest wave of institutional demand hit this space, it's going to disappear off the exchanges very quickly. All of a sudden, we have instant scarcity for XRP, and the price would be astronomical if that happens. Speaking of adoption, let's talk about what's happening right now in the retail space. A 110-year-old department store chain just started accepting crypto. Bealls, a retail corporation running more than 660 stores across the US, began accepting cryptocurrency. The chain announced this on October 20th, and here's what makes this special. They've integrated with Flexa, a prominent digital payments infrastructure platform. This makes them the first national retailer to accept virtual currencies from any crypto wallet app across more than a dozen blockchains simultaneously. They're accepting over 99 cryptocurrencies. And here's the kicker. They're accepting actual crypto, not requiring you to convert it to US dollars first.
The fact that this is happening, this is going to be one of many articles we're going to see like this over the coming months. People always think it's just the banks getting on board with crypto, but it's going to be major retailers jumping on board as well. We will see mass adoption by 2029. Actually, I think it happens even sooner. I believe it will begin very soon, right after institutional adoption kicks in. We'll see the early signs of mass retail adoption much faster than people expect. Before we go any further, I need to talk about something that's absolutely crucial. We're going to see a massive rise in scams over the coming months as cryptocurrency prices continue to climb. You've got to keep your crypto safe. I urge this more than anything else. Here's the reality. There are a lot of people out there who really don't care whether or not you lose your crypto. But I do care. I don't want to see any of you become victims of these scams. Remember this golden rule. When something looks too good to be true, it is too good to be true. You're going to get emails, you're going to get text messages, some even claiming to be from Coinbase, telling you that your wallet was just connected to somebody else's system, or something you've never seen before. Avoid these text messages and emails unless you can validate them independently. David Schwartz himself warned about the huge increase in phishing emails, claiming hardware wallet security upgrades or verification processes. Ignore any such messages unless you can independently confirm them. And this is critical. Never enter a hardware wallet seed phrase into anything other than the hardware wallet itself.
Everyone is looking to steal your crypto. Don't let scammers steal what you've worked so hard to accumulate. Keep your crypto safe. Unfortunately, we're still seeing political resistance. Senator Warren just slammed stablecoin law and urged Treasury to address what she calls Trump conflict of interest concerns and financial risk. When is she going to give it up? She's tried to crack down on crypto for years. Look at where crypto is today. The reason she keeps going on about this is because nobody has beaten her in an election yet. Once she gets voted out, maybe then she'll realize that instead of working for the big banks and trying to hold crypto back, maybe she should have embraced innovation and allowed it to push ahead in the United States. I blame her for what we're seeing right now. Her and all the other people who were creating the crypto crackdown are the reason why, as Paul Atkins said, the US is a decade behind in crypto innovation and regulation. However, Atkins has promised to build a strong framework and turn the regulator into the Securities and Innovation Commission. Now that's the kind of forward thinking we need. We're a decade behind because crypto innovation pushes ahead so fast. In just a few short years, you can suddenly find yourself lagging way behind the rest of the world. And that's exactly what happened over the last 4+ years until we had an administration change in Washington. It was people like Elizabeth Warren and others who were giving FTX a free pass until FTX came crashing down. Then, right away, they all distanced themselves from that situation. 2022, 2023, and the beginning of 2024 was absolutely horrible for crypto. It was the worst time in crypto history. We had crashes, we had the crackdown, we had company after company getting dragged into the SEC with lawsuits thrown at them, pushing innovation outside the United States. And yet, some of these people want to continue with that approach. They don't realize that if you don't embrace this technology, the rest of the world is going to pass you by completely. At some point, we are going to see XRP go on a parabolic run. It is absolutely coming. And when that happens, you're going to see a shift in so many things. The mainstream media won't be able to help themselves. They're going to have to talk about XRP. We're on the verge of institutions getting into this space, and it's going to push this entire sector ahead like never before. At the same time that crypto is already pushing upward, we are going to see the craziest run in cryptocurrency history. And right now, it's still loading.
It's like the calm before the storm, but that storm is absolutely approaching. Until that storm hits, stay patient. We're living through a historic transformation in finance, and if you're positioned correctly with XRP, you could be part of something absolutely life-changing. Keep your crypto safe, ignore the political noise, and remember, we're not just investing in a cryptocurrency, we're investing in the future of global finance. What do you think? Are you prepared for what's coming? Are you staying safe with your crypto security? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button if this analysis helped you understand what's really happening. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and keep holding strong. The future is closer than you think, and it's going to be incredible.